Am I the a-hole for adopting my brother's affair baby?
Why not adopt your own affair baby? Why your brother's?
Great question, Riley. Let's answer the question. When is adoption not the answer? And it comes from Honeydeal5164, who says, I, 26 female, am in a long-term committed relationship with another woman, 23 female. Both of us have always known that we wanted children, and we've had a lot of discussions about just how that might happen.
Oh, wow. Pretty young for that kind of conversation.
That is true, actually. That is a young couple. And to have always had that conversation, that means in their super early 20s and maybe even 19, depending on how long they were together. Who knows? Even teenage years. My brother, Roy, 34 female, cheated on his wife.
Wait. Sorry. They're both, I just realized it's a lesbian couple.
Yeah, but that's still.
That didn't register.
That's still young. That's still young to talk about kids, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
So my brother Roy, 34 male, cheated on his wife, 32 female, with a younger woman, Mary, 21 female. Yeah.
Dang.
He had been carrying on an affair with her for about 2 years. Mary says that nothing started until she was 18, for what it's worth. Oh, when you have to clarify that, God. However, all of this came to light when she got pregnant and came to our family. Roy wanted her to abort, but she wasn't comfortable with that, and he convinced her to go with adoption instead. Ultimately, this caused major trouble in his marriage. Gee, really?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? Oh my God. Our family all have come to know Mary, and my partner and I actually ended up offering her a lot of support.
Nice. She's pretty chill.
Pretty chill. Very gracious. Too gracious? We'll see. We genuinely became friends with her as well. Mary is not in a position to be raising a child, and she's not really interested in motherhood. However, my partner has had a little bit of baby fever, and she's asked if we could be the ones to adopt Mary's kid. Riley.
Yes.
Why don't we do a poll for our beautiful exclusive members, adopt or not? I'm curious. I'm curious how the people feel, because also this is a very rare one of the pros, I think, is it's a very rare opportunity no, it's not a rare opportunity, but it's an opportunity for them to have a child that is related to them by blood. Now they could just use one of their eggs. Oh, what if they had this child and then they had the other woman use one of her eggs, and then they have two children that are both related to one of each other?
That would be cool. That would be cool if they I don't know.
they inseminate.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only bad part about all of this is that the family will be reminded of his accident, but I hope that the kid won't always be looked at it as that, if that makes sense.
It's not an accident though. It's the kid's inception is an accident, but the act to do it was that I think is one of the cons. The baby will kind of forever, his wife, OP's sister-in-law, maybe too much.
Maybe.
It might be too much, but we'll see.
We got 95% yes.
95% yes. 95% yes. We'll see if that changes as time goes on, but that's very interesting. So our state actually makes private adoptions pretty straightforward, so we made the arrangements through an attorney. Mary was happy about this, and we told her that we'd be glad to have her in the baby's life as it fits her ability to be around. Mary gave birth to our beautiful daughter, Sabrina, and Sabrina has been living with my partner and I ever since. Legally, I am her mother.
Nice.
My parents have been thrilled about this because they love the idea of having their grandkid around. They've been a great help and are constantly helping us look after our daughter. Roy, the brother, however, is severely unhappy about this, to say the least. Maybe you shouldn't have had an affair, baby? An affair?
How about them?
How about that? He didn't want us to adopt Sabrina, and he says that her being around at family functions and in everyone's lives is upsetting his wife. What we predict.
Actions have consequences.
Actions have consequences. You have to deal with them. They've reconciled more or less, and she's kind of stuck with him. Ooh, she's been a stay-at-home parent since she was 20, and there are reasons why a divorce might not go well for her. But he says that Sabrina is still a constant sore point. It kind of sounds like she's literally just there because she's like, I have literally been a stay-at-home mom for so long that it would be in a massive upheaval to my life to have to change. That's a whole lifestyle that I have to completely change, which I very much empathize with. I could totally understand that, but it does kind of suck. Now his wife, not that she should be able to stop the adoption, I don't think, but But Opie says both Roy and his wife are resolutely child-free, and his wife had literally threatened to divorce him if he ever attempted to gain custody over Sabrina. Wow. Wow. Roy says there were a million other ways that my partner or I could have gotten a baby, and that it was selfish and a-holish to force, quote unquote, his mistress's baby back into their life after he was trying to repair things. Bro, again, you are the one that caused all of this. And honestly, what's the poll at right now?
91%, 92%.
And Harlan Baker says, thanks for the dono. The brother can get over it. He was the one who cheated without protection. OP is giving the child a good life. That's the thing, is like the child now not only has great adoptive parents, but is now going to have the birth mom in their life. This is honestly the best, I think, still the best case scenario. Maybe we read more and maybe we change our mind, but like
second best case, Roy taking ownership and being a good father and the wife being okay with it.
Yes.
First best choice.
Actually, yeah, that's,
But this is honestly probably better than that because Roy and the wife are not really good people. So this is the best choice. This is giving, if Roy was a better person, second best, but given the scenario, best choice.
Yeah, because they both were like, we want to be child free. So if the child was actually taken care of by them, assuming they still have those same like, you know, child free wants and tendencies, it probably would not be a good situation. So yeah, this is a very good scenario for the kid, I think, at least as of right now. He's repeatedly pointed out that my partner still thinks she might want to get pregnant at some point soon, and the fact that I haven't denied that I might be pregnant someday as reasons why we should have let Sabrina go to some other family where, quote unquote, she won't automatically cause trouble. He is also not only upset about Sabrina being in the family, but about Mary being around too, the mistress. He really hates her because he feels like she tried to baby trap him. You know, did you ever consider hating yourself for causing the pain to your wife? It seems as if everyone else is getting blamed except for you. You are blaming everyone except for yourself.
Whoa.
Oh my God. Stop. Sit down and shut up. This couldn't be further from the truth, as she never wanted to keep the baby one way or another. And yeah, it's like she did not want a baby. She did not baby trap. As to how she got pregnant, they were using protection, and he thought that she was also on birth control. Mary had admitted that she lied about being on birth control because she didn't like the side effects, and he was using protection anyways. She admits she's pretty sure she got pregnant when Roy got kind of lazy / impatient and used the same protection for a second round. Roy is absolutely furious at her, and he thinks that she did it on purpose, but she didn't. And besides that, she was like 19 or something, and obviously not the one at fault here.
Ooh, yeah, dude. Roy, you're not in a good
dude, Roy.
Let's take a quick pause on this story right here. Gotta tell you something.
Okay.
I've been reading so many stories.
We were calculating it, actually. Yeah.
72,800. No, 80.
8,600 minutes.
I'm starting to feel the effects.
Like what?
My lips are cracking.
Oh, no.
Because I have to open my mouth every day.
Oh, God.
My eyes are drying up.
I would cry for you, but I can't.
I have no tears left to cry.
Is there anything we can do to possibly help heal your ailments?
There's one.
What is it?
ZocDoc.
ZocDoc! ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and choose the right one for your needs and click instantly to book an appointment.
We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more.
You can filter your doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need that you might have, and who are highly rated by verified patients.
You can also see their actual appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast! Lickety-split. Typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, you can even score some same-day appointments. It's pretty great, right?
It's pretty amazing.
Listen, Sophia, I use ZocDoc, we use ZocDoc. You should freaking use it too, guys. Use ZocDoc.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP. let's get back into the show. He's upset about the fact that we don't plan on keeping his paternity a secret when Sabrina is old enough to ask questions. This is your mistake. It has consequences, as Riley said. And he has repeatedly said that the problem was solved and we unsolved it. Die. Roy used to be our parents' favorite. He has a very prestigious, very high-paying job, and he's their firstborn son. And until they accepted that he and his wife were truly serious about being child-free, they figured he was their best chance at grandkids. I, on the other hand, was always the kind of family weirdo, and my parents have never really understood my personality. And while they haven't been homophobic or anything, I sometimes have gotten the vibe that they were a little disappointed I was mostly dating women and settled down with another woman, and that they might have been hoping my sexuality was just a phase and that I'd settle down with a man to give them a baby.
Dang, I felt like I've met this family before.
Riley's like, do you live in Tennessee or North Carolina?
Do you live in Alpharetta, Georgia?
Oh, wow, that's specific.
Sorry, well, that was a little too specific.
Almost doxing, but not really. Edge doxing.
That's
edge doxing right there off the skibidi-addy. Now, however, Roy has gotten tons of flack from them, and they've been practically showering my partner and me with love and support. He is clearly very, very jealous. Roy was sad that I brought Sabrina into a effed up family situation and that I should have let her have a chance at going to a normal household. And he has come dangerously close to implying that it's wrong of me to be raising her in a non-married, semi-open relationship between two women rather than in a traditional married heterosexual household. I've told him that he can shove his implications and that any part of this that's a problem for him is his own dang fault. Some of my friends / acquaintances have expressed limited sympathy for Roy and said that they can understand how I'm effing up his life though, but I disagree. The affair happened and I don't feel like he should be relying on his wife forgetting about it by just keeping it out of sight and out of mind like she's a goldfish or something. Am I the a-hole for adopting my brother's affair daughter? Riley, can we see where the poll has, the story is over, where's the poll?
Adopt, 93% yes.
93% yes on adopt, and I have to say, I agree. I think that this is a very, very, maybe there's, maybe if the baby got adopted to like a, billionaire family that wants the birth mom involved as she can be, maybe that's like the most like insane dream scenario. But of realistic scenarios, I think this is the best case for the baby. Roy literally never once, MJ Grow, he needs to accept his accountability. Roy literally never once in this entire story accepted accountability at all. Literally never once. And so it's like, before he can make, like, I believe does not have the right to make those comments. And even if he accepted accountability, I don't think so. But if you're going to make those comments, you have to bear the barest of minimums is to accept your own accountability of like, I was the one that cheated. Like, I was the one that I was the one that, used same protection twice, was lazy. Like, these are the actions that lead towards an affair, baby. Having an affair and not using protection wisely. So it's like, dude, what more you got to say?
Yeah, dude. Ridiculous.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is all. Let's get into the second story right freaking now. Are you ready, Riley? Let's go.
Oh man, I really love when this thing covers my head like this. It feels so good.
What's on our heads, Sam?
That's the new OK Storytime hat merch, only available in maroon.
That's right. And guys, not only is it going out of sale July 31st.
Yeah, that's the last time that you could buy.
They're already dwindling. They're flying off the shelves.
We're only offering 33 hats. So get yours right now. Support the show and spread the word, because OK Storytime is going to be on the mouth of every person in the streets.
Buy them.
OKStorytime.show. Link in description.
Let's go. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's husband I don't want him to adopt me?
Trial is up.
Yeah. You cannot subscribe. You cannot renew. And this is the answer. When is adoption not the answer? Which we should ask at the end of the story.
Is this reverse adopting?
Maybe. Well, I think we have to find out from Minimum Succotash 526, who says, I, 16 male, have two dads. One passed away before I was born. Daddy. He was my non-biological father, and his best friend was my parents' surrogate. She's my auntie Gija. So my dad is my bio parent and my daddy's widower. And yeah, I say dad and daddy and still say daddy as a 16-year-old guy.
Oh.
Is that how he calls him? That's how he calls him.
In this world, in the times that you're Gen Alpha, maybe Gen Z, and you're calling your dad daddy.
He's acknowledging it's different. He's acknowledging it's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Dad always referred to daddy as daddy, so I use it. So
I'm okay with it. I'm just saying it's got to be tough for you.
He knows what he's getting into.
You want to give me that whiteboard?
Oh yeah?
Or do you want to do the whiteboard?
Yeah. Why don't I pass it over to you?
I didn't know. I feel like it's good for the other person to do.
Okay, so basically, I gotta run this down to make sure I understand it. So 2 dads. Oh, yes. So 2 dads, 2 gay daddies.
What's one dad's name?
One passed away. There's non-bio dad and bio dad.
Is the non-bio dad dead?
The non-bio dad is the one that's deceased. The bio dad is still alive. Bio dad is still alive. And then dad, still alive. Sorry, bio dad.
Dude, Sophia does so much better than...
Dude, right? She kind of crushes it. And then finally, Auntie Gija, she's the surrogate. So she's his biological mother. So his biological dad and mother are both still alive. Talish Muffin says, the father passed so young, so calling him daddy forever isn't weird. Yeah,
Oh,
Riley.
so daddy's dead?
Yes. Let's call them non-bio dad and dad on the whiteboard.
Okay.
Like I mentioned before. Yeah.
All right. Who is daddy?
Okay.
Give me daddy one more time.
Okay,
Daddy is dead,
so-
right?
Yes. Daddy is dead and he's a non-bio father. And dad is the bio father. And then Auntie Gija is the surrogate.
All right. Boom. Here we go, guys. This is not good whatsoever, but this is what I got. Yeah, daddy, dad.
Yes, there we go. All right. I think it might be good for hosts to do.
Yeah, whenever we have more hosts.
But we got it.
Yeah, I miss Sophia.
Yes, we miss Sophia. You'll be here soon.
She'll be here soon, yeah.
But actually very soon. So a month before I was born, daddy, my non-biological dad, passed away. My bio dad changed completely that day. Because of where we live, even back then, my non-bio dad was still able to be recognized on my birth certificate. It was a fight and it involved the courts, but it happened. It was really uncommon back then, but he won the case, and thanks to Auntie Gija, again his biological mom, and other family members recognizing my 2 dads as OP's dads. I grew up always knowing about daddy, and I always cherished a connection to him. I was glad my dad won the rights for both of them to legally be my parents. I was also treated like their son, not just dads or not dads and Auntie Gija's. When I was 4, my bio dad tried to date again, and he met Sam. They dated for about 3 months, but bio dad wasn't ready, and Sam didn't like what he saw. He felt jealous and insecure that he wasn't being brought in as another dad for me. Okay, so I guess he's like frustrated that he wasn't being brought in as a dad soon enough, I guess. They reconnected when I was 8 and got married when I was 12. My relationship with Sam is complicated and weird, and he wants to adopt me, but I don't want him to be my dad. I don't want to be adopted by him or have him take care of me if I become an orphan. He has always made it a point to bring up the fact that daddy wasn't my bio father in the first place and how legally it was a miracle he's even on my birth certificate. I hate it. It feels gross. He has told me at least I'll know him, while daddy is someone who's just saintly in my mind because I wasn't allowed to process only having one parent. So basically, I think he's saying like, accept, I'm also not your bio dad, so accept me, just the same way that, daddy was also not your non-bio dad. And the fact that like you kind of see him as a saint in your eyes. It wasn't that. There we go. Even though I know I was raised by one parent, but I still had 2. He just wasn't. Oh, that's sweet. But I read the book he was putting together for me. He documented a lot of the parenting journey and surrogacy stuff and the pregnancy until his death.
Oh!
Wow. He was so excited. He loved me so much. He wanted me so badly.
Oh!
Ugh! Right in the feels. On Father's Day, we had a big fight over adoption. Dad was out and Sam brought up the adoption to me. He told me he's tired of feeling like an outsider because I always treat him like dad's spouse instead of my stepdad or my parent. I told him that's because that's what he is, and he has to learn to accept that. I told him nothing changed for me. He told me it's stupid because I love one stepdad so much more. Buddy, that was his original parent that passed away, that left this amazing moment to him. Like, you can't do that. You're not going to win him over this way. I told him daddy is more than just a stepdad. And then I told him I don't want him to adopt me ever, and bringing up daddy isn't winning me over. I told him if anything, he's making me wish dad had found someone better.
Ooh. On Father's Day.
Dude, you're right. Dad doesn't know what happened, but things have been tense since Sam and I went too far. Am I the a-hole? We have relevant comments. We have an update, but ladies and gentlemen, we need to stop right here, right now. So Like Sam is, and I have a slight conspiracy theory.
Tell it. Here's Sam.
Here we go. There he is. I think Sam is just trying to win the approval for dad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, like I'm married to this guy. I want him to like have a positive view on me. I think he's doing it more to just look good than to have a relationship with it. Maybe there is a part of him that wants to have a relationship with a kid, but that's my conspiracy theory is that's his actual true main motive here, which is like not a great motive. And it's like so obvious. It's like you can't force this kid to love. That's basically
really
what he's
can't.
trying to do. And it's like the more you try to force, especially because he is still a kid, he's a 16-year-old teenager. Yeah, of course he's gonna like lash out at you. The big question I have, and maybe we can throw up a poll for this, is OP the a-hole for what he said? And let me like read it back both for you all and for me to get the exact quote from the story. So we're having everything straight here. I told him, if anything, he's making me wish dad had found someone better. I mean, okay, I will say so Sam, definitely the a-hole.
Yes.
OP, kind of the a-hole, but I totally understand.
Justified a-hole.
I don't know if I would say justified. I think my asterisk would be, I totally understand that he's emotional. He's like teenager. This is about his deceased dad who he loves very much. Maybe he is justified. I think I'm on the fence of saying he's justified, or I just understand his a-holery. You know what I
Chad
mean?
is disagreeing with you like crazy. It's 97% no, not the a-hole. I think there was a line that needed to be placed, and by doing this was the way OP was able to make that line.
Get the message clear. I think that is a brilliant point, because this guy, Sam, was just not getting it. And so it's like, it's going to sting, but like, you need to understand and learn this boundary. And it's not, he's like, oh, he's been quiet, like things have been tense. I think the message has finally synced in that he can't just keep like forcing, as Titan Summer say, not the a-hole, as Sam keeps pushing. Like Sam keeps trying to push and force OP to love him, basically, and want to be, or at a minimum, want or agree to be adopted. You know what? I'll change my mind. I'll go with justified a-hole as well. Like, it's not a great thing to say, but I totally get it, and I don't even fault him. I really don't fault him, honestly, at all.
I feel like people don't fight anymore. They just fight with their words now. And you, my boy John, are not a fighter in those aspects. You don't fight people. He's a lover, dude. He's a lover. He'll try to figure out the best way to communicate something like that.
That's true.
That's where he's coming from. Sometimes you gotta fight with your words. You gotta be like, hey, back off, Sam.
Yeah. I think even though maybe it makes him the quote unquote justified a-hole, I think that's actually what he needed to say. Maybe then he's not the a-hole. Maybe I'll change my mind completely by the end of the story. But ladies and gentlemen, we have some relevant comments here. So
The relevant comments.
Oh, yes. I thought you were like, oh no,
uh-oh.
something's happening. In response to a now deleted comment, my dad would be on my side here. He never wanted Sam to take the place of my second dad / parent. He's always just a partner for him. I am also not denying myself love. Sam is denying it by making it him versus daddy. That is true. Sam has been like angling it very like, I'm not trying to replace him. I just, want to be here to be a parent to you. He has tried to compete since I was 4 years old when he and dad had a short thing. A top commenter said, you need to really talk to your dad and tell him everything. That is actually big facts. Does your dad know about what Sam is doing? Sam has no right to try and erase your daddy, regardless if you met him or not. He is still and always will be your daddy. You're not the a-hole. Sam, however, is an a-hole. Yeah, honestly, go to the dad. Go to the dad and tell him everything, because if the dad is a good father, he should be like, yo, Sam, why are you doing this? Like, it's protect the kid at all costs. Because again, like, we're growing, like, we have way more tools and whatever as like grown adults, and he's carrying, these different traumas and this very negative experience of his father passing away, his other father passing away. OP responds to that, actually, dad doesn't know. I always knew this would be the end of their marriage if he dude, I want my dad to be happy, so I kept quiet. But I guess that's not such a great idea anymore, especially if it comes out in a more explosive way eventually. Dude, this kid just wants to see his dad happy. I mean, his partner literally passed away.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a hard, you probably don't ever fully heal from it. You just kind of like regain your ability to operate in life again. I can only speculate and imagine, because I've never been through anything close to like that. So I don't have the full wherewithal and right to speak on that fully. hopefully. But dang, dude. Yeah, I think he should definitely tell his dad.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Because you're gonna be seeing this guy for Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the holidays.
And like, actually, this is a favor to the dad because he doesn't want. The reason why he would break up is he doesn't want to be in a relationship with a partner who would treat his child like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, that clearly shows it's like, that's just him like learning the truth.
Yeah.
On Auntie Gija, she was a surrogate, but my dad's were my parents on my birth certificate. What would happen if OP's dad passed away? I would be with family if something happened to my dad, not Sam. So yeah, as of right now, yeah, one of the things that Sam mentioned, which actually is, probably important, especially considering literally what happened to his other dad, and he probably has a big fear and anxiety over this. If his current living bio dad passes away and Sam is also his parent, he would then live with Sam, versus right now the plan is like he would go and just live with his other family.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I would way prefer that over living with Sam. OP did a comment 4 hours later. I'm going to tell him today.
Okay, good. Wow, that's quick.
Right? I texted him and asked if we could talk, and he's going to leave work early so we can. He can leave his work early on some days. And OP on the story, OP is voted not the a-hole.
Of course.
And what a time for us to reach a point where we have an update the next day. Then our very own, incredible, illustrious co-host, Sophia Donner, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, round of applause. You came in you couldn't have come in at a better time, Sophia. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You picked the perfect time. So here's what's going on. TLDR.
Wait.
Oh, here we go.
Whoa. Yeah. It looks like we're making like molecules.
Yeah, right? We're doing all this. So, oh gosh, this is hard to show. Okay, here we go. So basically, OP has two dads.
Two dads, gotcha.
So his bio dad is still alive. His non-bio dad, who he calls daddy, is deceased. So the dad and Sam are now in a relationship.
On and off, now they're married.
On and off, now they're married for like many years deep in their relationship now. Sam is trying to force OP, like, hey, let me adopt you. Let me be your dad. You should accept me as your dad, and kind of like comparing him and his daddy, who he, like OP daddy made a book, I guess, as he knew, I'm guessing he kind of knew he was going to pass away. And he made this adorable book about like his life, his experience, their experience of having OP and how much he loved him.
That's so sweet, and I don't like Sam.
Yeah, Sam sucks.
Sam stinks.
Literally, Sam is the worst.
Sam's the worst.
The most terrible ever. Sam is in the other room. Our good Sam, who we love. Just kidding. That's not you. And then Auntie Gija is the surrogate mother.
Okay.
So she's not really a main character in the story. She's just the surrogate mother. So basically where we're at right now is OP is going to tell dad that Sam, because dad has literally no idea that Sam has been pressuring his son to accept him. And he said in a response to a relevant comment, he's like, if I tell my dad, I think he's going to divorce.
Okay, can I redo that? Okay. Wow, I totally understand.
I'm so sorry.
No, it didn't hurt, but I was really worried that it would. Okay, I understand. No, it helped me understand it. I just want to make it look pretty.
Oh, go for it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have an update the next day. Also July 3rd, 2024. So this was pretty recent. I told dad everything. He brought me out to get ice cream, and we just talked for like 4 hours about everything that happened. My dad was so upset. He had no idea Sam had ever even mentioned adoption to me. Sam never mentioned he wanted to go that far. We both ended up crying because dad felt so guilty, and I felt awful hurting my dad. All I ever wanted was for him to be really happy.
Aww.
Sam, this is all your fault, Sam.
Why are you doing this?
He got really mad when I told him what Sam said about daddy and being just a stepfather. My dad isn't a guy who gets mad, so to see him that way was surprising, but also not really, because he still loves daddy so much. Because again, as we've said in all of the stories where it's deceased partner, it's like you never stop loving that person. They just pass away, sadly. I ended up spending that night at my best friend's house, and I'm still here. He said he needed to take care of things without me there, and he'd pick me up later today. He sent me a text late last night that said Sam won't be at the house when we got back home. And he apologized again. He apologized a lot yesterday. Also, Sam sent me an angry text at some point, and I blocked his number. I figure I don't need it anymore. And I'm gonna read it back one more time. Yeah, he said he needed to take care of things without me there, and he'd pick me up later today. He sent me a text late last night that said Sam won't be at the house when we got back home, and he apologized again. Yeah, so basically, I just wanted to double check. Dad has ended the relationship with Sam to protect OP, which is W parenting move. Absolute W parenting move.
W.
And that is the end of the story. Dixie Blue Steel says that Sophia is always scared of the whiteboard being passed to her. It's a danger. It's a hazard.
Dangerous.
Also,
guys.
my arms are weak noodles today because we worked out yesterday.
Also,
What should be the line for like a previous
wait,
thing?
I have something to say. Also, OP uses Notion. I see that he said that in a comment.
Really?
Yeah. They said something like,
Ayo.
I made a Notion checklist that helped me a lot, like in order to like help out with like telling dad stuff. And that's what
so
we
funny.
use here for our stories is
That's
a
true.
Notion.
That's true.
That's funny. No free sponsors. So let's break it down, y'all. I mean, Sam, absolutely the a-hole deserves to be dumped.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
get him out of there.
We hate Sam. Do we think that there's anything different that dad should have done once he learned?
From only knowing the second half of the story, I think he handled it pretty quickly. Yeah, it seems like once OP felt comfortable enough to tell him what was going on, I think he handled it pretty effectively.
I agree. I think it was pretty flawless execution. It's giving I protect my child above everything else, which is great. And like OP said, he literally said like, oh, I think my dad will divorce him because one of his deal breaker core values is you must treat my son with the most respect, like, possible, all that good. Now let's talk about the question of this episode. When is adoption not the answer?
Now.
Yes. And it was funny because when I first read the episode question, I'm like, adoption is great. Adoption is amazing. But actually, yes, there are many. Basically, when the child is like, no, I do not want and do not consent to this.
Yeah, when the child is old enough to,
Be able to speak their mind and like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. You can't force a child to see you as a parent, especially as like a step parent. That, just doesn't work. Here's my updated.
Where's Aunt G?
I didn't put her in there because I forgot her name.
Oh.
I erased it and I forgot. She's gone. Yeah. But I'm trying to think of different. So this was my love line. Oops. And then
We should
Make
like,
it squiggly.
what if we
Make it
cross
squiggly?
out people for deceased? Because I keep thinking
Ooh,
about
yeah.
a mushroom. I see it,
yeah.
and it's so tiny. Yeah. There you go.
And then
Anyways.
you can like cross out the line whenever they do.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Oh.
Love it. Yeah. So that's about it there. And yeah, so far it's like, hey, if the kid doesn't want to be adopted,
Yeah.
don't adopt the kid.
Don't adopt them.
But what if they're like 7 and they don't want to be adopted?
Well, it's still no.
They don't want to be adopted because you didn't get them enough Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I think there could be situations where there might be someone who is like, yeah, maybe there's a parent that's like, hey, I'll give you ice cream and video games and like, let you watch bad movies and stuff. And they're like, oh, I want to go here. I'm sure there are scenarios where that could exist.
But I think honestly, even if it was like a 7-year-old saying, I don't want you to be my
No,
parent.
100%. You still kind of like, yeah, it's
I
kind
think
of.
it should be like a full, like you should wait until they say, well, yeah, I think it should be like a full support.
Yeah. I can't think of a better alternative
Yeah, nor can I.
than going by that. But speaking of different scenarios around adoption and whatnot, I think that Sophia might have a story to read to us.
I do. Alrighty, well, let's get into it.
Well, let's do it. Riley, we have to stop the episode right now to talk about something.
Oh no.
There are 126,000 people that are starving for good content.
I know those people.
They're subscribed to our channel.
Yeah, those people.
However, tragically, they do not have a membership to see all of our members' exclusive live stream.
Are you serious? So you're saying 126,000 people aren't seeing our members only content?
That's right, but there is a solution to cure this tragic plague.
Tell us, don't wait.
You can get our members only streams on Mondays and Fridays by becoming a member.
Yeah.
And join us during the episode recording stream where we record our episodes in advance and you get to be immortalized in the content. Just click the join button down here on the YouTube video or the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Am I the a-hole for telling my parents to ask their foster children for help instead of me?
Maybe
there's and again, this is to answer the question of when is adoption and or fostering, in this case, not the answer. So, OK recommendation 1408 says, my 34 male life could have been okay growing up, except that my parents wanted to be good people. Interesting phrase.
Explain.
So they became foster parents. I think it was noble of them. Those kids needed help. The downside was that I got ignored. I got less attention than those kids because I was independent and didn't need help. Gifts from my grandparents became gifts for the family. My grandparents put a stop to that by not buying me gifts, but taking me out instead. Oh, okay. So the grandparents would give gifts to OP, and then the parents would redistribute them. The wealth.
Socialism for gifts.
Yeah, they're like, oh, those are your gifts? Now they're everybody's gifts.
But shout out to the grandparents. They were like,
and so they were like,
we'll
no, we're going to take you outside.
There we go.
I got to go see movies and taken out for meals and weekend trips with my grandparents. My dad's folks took me to Disneyland, and my mom's mom and dad took me to New York City. My parents tried to get the money for this stuff given to them instead. I begged my grandparents not to do that. I left the house when I was 17. I graduated early and got into a trade. My grandfather was in the union and he got me in. I've been at it for 17 years now and I'm doing okay.
Awesome.
My parents are not. They ran themselves ragged taking in all those kids. Even the money they got wasn't enough to make up for their sacrifices. They asked me for help and I said no. I know that if I give them money, they will just waste it on the kids they took in after I left. I told them that they had a plethora of foster kids that they could ask for money. My mom said she was disappointed in me and that she thought she raised me better. I said I raised myself from about 8 years old onward. My grandparents are tapped out too. My parents already owe them so much money. My wife says she understands how I feel, but thinks I'm being mean. My mom thinks I'm holding a grudge from childhood. I refuse to speak with my father, but I assume he is still giving my old things to the new kids. And there are some relevant comments, but that is all we hear from OP.
Whoa, that's kind of crazy. Harlan Baker also, thanks for the 5 Canadian buckaroonies. I'm not an adoption expert, but I was adopted at age 5. Me and all my siblings are adopted. These stories resonate with me so much.
No, I think, I mean, in general, I'm a proponent of adoption, but I think that you have to be, the parents who are looking into adoption, you have to be, or foster care, you just have to be so prepared for it.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times people who look into adoption do so because they want a child, less because they want a child out there to have a good, safe home.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think adoption should be child focused rather than your wants.
The same way there's tons of stories where someone's like, I want a baby, give me a baby. And they're not like, okay, I'm like ready to like really invest in like parenting and raising a child well. They're just like, I just want a baby.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of stuff exactly. And a lot of stuff, like a lot of, I don't want to say baggage, but like a lot of, what's another word? Like, well, trauma, health issues can come with adopting a child, especially if you don't, if the records are closed, and you have to be prepared to be able to handle those things.
Yeah.
Like you have to be prepared to maybe spend a lot in medical bills or take your child to therapy if you're adopting an older child. So there's a lot that goes into adoption that people don't really think of.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it seems like these parents were in the camp of like, I just want kids. It's like
I just want kids.
This is like almost like a toy. Like I just want kids and bringing them in.
Or even I think also OP kind of mentioned that, they're good people. And it feels like maybe they're doing this in part to make themselves look good.
Right. Yeah.
At the expense of OP, which is, OP. I don't think OP owes them anything, if that was how. Yeah.
So, to answer that question, do we think that OP should basically give them?
I don't think so. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think generally it is good to save that comment, Riley. I'll read it in a sec. Generally, I think it is good to, there is this kind of like flippening where you end up parenting your parents in many ways. And I think that is a very good thing, or like helping them. I think that is a very good thing because parents do so much to raise us, and it is a massive undertaking to do. However, when you basically go into parenthood, it's kind of like that's the deal. Like you are like, hey, you want a kid? Well, great. You have 18 years plus of like very hard work of thankless stuff. Like that is what comes with it. So in this specific scenario, I don't think that they deserve money from OP. And like OP said, like there's also other grandchildren that you favored, or other adopted children and foster children that you favored over me. So go ask them. You love them so much. Go get it from them.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that OP said the mom said, "Oh, well, you're just fostering a grudge from childhood." I think that is true, but I think yes, for a reason.
Those are the things you.
You did. That was your fault. Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, I'm like, yo, be more supportive of your partner.
Yeah.
Like this is something that probably affects so many things in his life. Probably also your relationship. It's a good thing to talk and work through. And like, I feel like that's so like when your partner brings something like that.
Well, I think the mom said that, but I think it is interesting that the wife said, "Oh, I think you're being mean."
Yes, that the wife said you're being mean.
I think you're still.
Yeah, it's like I would hope my partner is like, oh, you should just like get over. You're just being mean. Why don't you just get over it? And like, oh, is this hurting? Is this or something like?
Yeah. Is this still affecting you to this day? This kind of tense, strained relationship with your parents?
100%. I think generally what happens in the right scenarios where people give money is like the parents like don't want to ask for money, and the child is like, no,
you've
I
done
am
so
here
much
to help
for
you.
me. I
Yes.
want to give back. Yeah. In those situations, that's totally fine. I don't think it's like a clear-cut rule of a child should never give money to the parent.
Yeah.
But I think in this situation, they don't deserve that.
1,000%. But ladies and gentlemen, we don't hear from OP anymore.
I think they respond to one comment, but
You respond?
I think
Okay.
it's just, a couple
We don't
comments.
hear much from OP, but Sophia,
I shall.
I am not
You were
reading
about
this
to
story.
read it.
You
Yeah,
are.
I was like, wasn't I reading it? Strapo says, not the a-hole. Your parents ignored you and tried to take money from you. You're not holding a grudge from childhood. You're simply recognizing a pattern that they never made you a priority. They were irresponsible in their financial planning by taking in so many kids. That's not your problem. Tell your wife, I do not think you are being mean. You just don't want to be taken advantage of. And there's another comment from Watafu Mix says, you are not holding a grudge from childhood. They say, yes, he is, but he's absolutely justified. To hold a grudge is to have and maintain a feeling of anger, bitterness, or resentment towards someone for something they did, especially a wrong that you think they committed against you. I agree with that. And then Sharp Chocolate says, I see a lot of not the a-hole, but honestly, I think you're an entitled, spoiled brat. Whoa. Your parents helped underprivileged children and you got a lot of nice things and experiences with your extended family, but you're mad because you had to share your parents' love? You didn't go without and you don't need those things to have a good life, but you got them, and instead of being happy, you're mad. The way you talk about them feels like you've never even tried to see them as family. You don't have to help them, I guess, but I don't get what your issue is. And then OP responds, they're welcome to spend all of their time and money on anything they want. My money is for my family. Yeah, that's a crazy comment. Not from OP, but from the person before.
Yeah, it's just like, again, it's the same. It's kind of the same thing with like, there's parents that are awful parents, you know, and like at the end of the day, they don't deserve all these things. They birthed you. I think there does. Now, that being said, I do think, again, there's so much sacrifice in parenting, and I think sometimes it's easy to, you know, two things can be true, where it's like maybe some parents mess up in some areas, but maybe also they really were trying their hardest and all these things. I think in this specific scenario, the parents were, again, like just taking as many kids for whatever reason. That wasn't because they wanted to be, you know, good parents and really give these kids the best home they possibly could. I think they had some ulterior motives, and it showed for OP's upbringing.
Yeah. And I think also most kids will recognize that their parents, you know, made sacrifices. And so the fact that OP is like, no, they didn't. Like, kids know what their parents did, you know, later in life. They're like, oh yeah, my parents, you know, maybe they were a bit strict, but they spent all of this time trying to help me go to college or something. So most kids are, to your point.
Yeah.
I'm saying like the fact that OP is later in life still like, no, these people were not good.
Yeah.
It's like kids know later in life how their parents treated them. I don't know how to make this point.
I know what you're saying. I
Yeah.
personally believe, I think sometimes people can, because of the wrong things that were done, can sometimes slightly or more unfairly let that overshadow.
I guess it depends on the child.
But it depends on the child and how the parents actually were. But this, I think, is a clear cut case of like, the parents had all these ulterior motives, and it showed in the way they raised their child.
True.
Period.
And that's the end of that story.
But I think on the stance of the question for the episode, I feel kind of the same. Like, if the kid doesn't want to be adopted, then can't adopt them.
And I think that if you are not fully ready and prepared to adopt, then you should not adopt.
Buckle your seatbelt and batten your hatches, because you're going to be taking care of this kid.
Yeah. This is not like a goldfish. This is a human child, and they will outlive you.
It's the Goldfish Pro Edition.
Yeah.
Okay. So upgrade your subscription, ladies and gentlemen.
And they don't have a 3-second memory. They're going to remember everything that you do to them.
That is correct.
And do for them. So.
And Riley, how are we looking on episode time? 57 minutes. Do we want to do a very quick call-in?
Ooh.
With one of our members? Maybe I forget who said they were adopted, but if you were adopted, I think you have a very, very good perspective to add to this. The former comment was like, I'm not an adopted expert, but I was adopted. I don't know, that to me that kind of makes you an adoption expert, because you went through you actually lived through.
There's two sides to the adoption coin.
That is very true. That is very true. Hit up Riley and we'll get you on the old Discord. Great job with these stories, by the way.
Thanks.
Sophia. Right length, just perfecto.
My question.
Perfecto.
Got some-
Ooh, we got someone on the line. Here we go. It's Sir Harlem. Harlem, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Welcome to the episode. So, do you have a story that is kind of related to the
They were the
adoption
one that
stories?
was adopted.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, Harlem. So you were the one that
Yeah.
was adopted. Maybe super quick. Do you think that OP made the right moves? Do you agree with OP's decisions in the story?
Yes. No, my background with being adopted is since I was 5 years old, I know my birth parents, I know my adopted parents, so like I have memories of foster care and all that. I do think, like, especially with the last story, I do believe the parents were foster parents not for the right reasons, but for the selfish reasons. And that honestly hits a really soft spot with me. I was very, very fortunate that the foster parents I had were good people. I still in contact with most of them today, actually.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I was fortunate. My story is not always what's going to be like the norm.
Yeah.
And it's
Totally.
sad to say, but I was very lucky. I was adopted with one of my birth sisters.
Nice.
Oh,
And
great.
Wow.
when they adopted my brother, they actually wanted to make sure that the three of us older kids were okay with another child coming into the family. And then when we adopted him, we actually built on an addition to our house so we
Wow.
can make room for him because there was 4 kids, 2 parents, and 2 grandparents living in the house. So
Big
there's
family.
8 of us.
Wow. And so it sounds like, yeah, so the parents like basically sat you two down and were like, hey, we would like to bring, another child into the family. Is that something that's like okay with kind of like asking for your blessing and all of that jazz, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there are 3 of us. Because
sorry.
the year before, my birth sister and I were adopted, they already had adopted another older child.
Got you.
My brother was the only one they adopted as a baby.
Got you.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear that you had a positive experience. Maybe as a closing thought, could you, for the people that are thinking of like fostering, adopting, could you leave them with one more tidbit that from, it sounds like your parents were incredible. Another good piece of advice from Sir Harlem on the wonders of being an incredible adoptive parent.
Be patient. You're not going to get a child right off the bat. There's going to be thorough examinations, thorough inspections of your house. Like my parents had to go through so much just to get approved to be able to adopt.
Yeah.
I think the circumstances with my brother was different than me and my sisters, but it did take them a long time to get approved for adoption. And this was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, very different.
I hope that it's still as extensive today
Yeah.
because you don't just want to have just anyone adopting or being foster parents. You have to go through the psychological tests.
Yes.
Their home has to be inspected. I
Yes.
need to make sure that you can provide for the kids, which is a big one. I'm fortunate enough that my mom was a college professor, so.
Well, I think, Harlem, that is a beautiful advice to end this note on. Harlem, thank you so much for your perspective and your story. And so glad to hear you had such a great situation growing up. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Bye.
Harlem. Bye.
Yeah, what a positive.
What a positive. We love, especially when this is our family. Surprise, you're all our adopted children.
Surprise.
Yeah, and we are your parents.
For your parents.
Okay, so go clean your room. Just kidding. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got.
That's all we got for you.
this episode. If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.